Hi there, folks. We're back here today. We have a little bit of news here in Kansas City. The uh, the city uh, has announced that they have put a no confidence vote on Brian Platt due to his constant lying and supporting racist legislature going through City Hall, um, not living up to his promises to the black community, um, especially. Uh, I want to personally and primarily point out, 70% of our homeless community in Kansas City is Black and African American folks. Um, they've made so many empty promises over the last 3.5 years since Six died. Um, they told us we were going to get pallet shelters. They were going to provide food. They were going to make sure that there were plenty of services made available to people. But then they left all of those initiatives up to volunteers um, without giving them funding, without providing them with any type of assistance. So basically, I want to thank the general community and the 501c3s and all the volunteers that have been out in Kansas City trying to make up for the the stuff that Brian Platt, our city manager out here in Kansas City, has been up to. Uh, I know he's done his fair share of not telling the truth about things when it comes to Kansas City tenants and a number of other things that would help out greatly in the black community, um, primarily the east side. The east side, if you're not familiar with Kansas City, the east side is from the Truce Divide to 435, pretty much. Um, it's considered the lowest income and most disparaged, and it's got some of the worst roads, some of the worst infrastructure. It's got some of the fewest amount of schools. The schools that are in those areas, they do an amazing job of trying to do the best that they can with the funding that they get and the little bit of pay that they have. And I mean, these teachers are out here spending their money out of their own personal pockets, and they don't make crap to begin with. Teachers and mental health care workers uh, are like two of our most important people in society. They help us raise our kids, and they help us keep our heads straight. And we don't pay. People at McDonald's make more than our Social Security work, our caseworkers and stuff. Caseworkers are out here being paid, 14 something an hour, make 15 starting at McDonald's. Who wants to do that? So we need to work on some initiatives to increase pay for our mental health care workers and our teachers. We need to work on various different types and steps into housing um, so that people aren't homeless for weeks and years at a time. There's people in Kansas City that have been on the streets for decades, not weeks or months or even a couple of years, decades. I know some people that have been out on the street 20, 30 years in Kansas City. It's ridiculous. And they talk about, oh, well, there's plenty of services. Half the people on the street don't know where all these services are. They don't have access to it. They don't have transportation. They don't have an ID. They don't have a place to stay. They don't have somewhere safe to keep their ID and items. Um, but you want them to be able to get a job and to maintain a job. But to do that without a place to live, without a shower, without a place to wash clothes, how do you expect people to go from being homeless to being a regular person just overnight and without money and without services and without a way to clean up? I mean, how many of y'all out there would go to an interview after not being able to take a bath for like a week or two? Uh, you know, if people go on the streets, weeks, months, years without taking a bath, and some of them it's due to a mental issue. Some of them it's due to uh, not knowing where to go to be able to do those things. I think there's only two places in Kansas City that offer showers, maybe three. Um, so you can imagine lines at those places. And then if something happens in one of those showers, like somebody has a breakdown or something like that, they have to shut the shower down, so that backs things up even further. Um, you know, and these are basic needs, and people are like, well, how come they just can't get up and get a job and do it? Okay, makes that possible. Give them a way to get a job. Shit. Uh, let's use some common sense, folks. You want to save money on city things like emergency response, and you guys are saying that oh, there's not enough police patrols up in the Northland. Well, shit, there ain't enough on the east side. At least y'all's response time up on the north side of town is like, let's say, I'm gonna guess a few minutes to 15 minutes tops. People on the east side be waiting for like an hour for cops to show up. You know, 18, 22 minutes at shootings and things like this. I, I'm not putting that blame on the police department. They go where they get the funding, and so you know, start funding the East Side, man, and give them back their money. You've been taking the East Side's money for years. Uh, Brandon Ellington. Me and this dude bumped heads, but man, I support this dude because he's the only dude out here who's speaking any type of common sense about the black community. Out of all these black representatives in City Hall, he's the only one standing up for the black community, and I don't understand that. And these other ones, the other folks, the white folks too, they over there and they're saying, oh well, we're doing what we can to improve things here in Kansas City. Really? So you're going to build like $30 million bridges over I-70 and turn it into a dog park so that the rich people who live on the north side of downtown don't have to hear the noise from the highway. And you would go through all the trouble of building exhaust fans and underground air systems and filtration stuff and all this stuff to help out with some noise on the highway. You're going to spend $30 million. What are y'all smoking in City Hall? Like, I stop smoking that shit. Get off of it. Um, Come on, man. I've seen some really terrible behavior from City Hall representatives. I've seen them say some despicable things about uh, people in the streets. And I got a friend of mine, she's like, why do people keep calling them homeless? I mean, it's basically you're making them their own race. And it's like, well, that's kind of how society's treating them at this point. If you don't make money, you ain't in. Um, that's really sad. Um, just just keep y'all's heads up out there, and you know, Share that love out there on the street. Keep a couple bottles of water, cold water, in your car for folks on the corner. Uh, you know, some type of healthy snack. Don't be taking them nuts and stuff that's hard to eat. Most homeless people have dental issues or no teeth. Um, you can't eat that stuff. So try to have some thought and consideration about the things that you do and do to help out with the homeless. How many of y'all ever been camping? You been camping? I've been camping a few times, when I was younger, and I used to love to go camping. And then I was homeless for a while, and it's like endless camping. It's like camping for 6 months. So imagine living out of a cooler, not having a toilet or a shower, all that stuff. I know a lot of folks that are like, oh, well, I go camping at a place where they have all that stuff. That's because you can afford it. Um, they don't have those things everywhere. They don't have a lot of places where you can just stop in and take a shower and stuff. Um, some advice to my homeless friends that's out there, and if you're trying to stay clean and you're tired of the lines at the volunteer places, get you a gym membership and stop in there every day. Do your little workout, work out some of that stress you'd be dealing with on the street. And there, you can take a shower. $10 a month. So, um, you know, you're not going to be looking homeless if you're going in there taking a shower every day, you know. And meet us down at the park. You can get some clothes and stuff. Um, Washington Park. Uh, if they stop trying to make it so impossible for us to have picnics there, they host every event they possibly can there. And then when they have like thousands of people trample the grass, they try to say it's the homeless people's fault that they did it. Nah, man. You just had 6,500 people over here in the rain. The public did it. Okay? Stop trying to blame stuff on the homeless. Uh, even if there's a bridge fire, that's not the homeless person's fault. It's our fault for not giving them a place to go. Uh, they should be able to have somewhere to go besides under that bridge. And if we as a society aren't providing it for them, then we ain't doing our jobs. And we're not being good people because we're not making sure everybody's needs are met. And in America, that's what we do. We don't just leave people hanging. If we overseas uh, fighting for this, that, and the other, and making sure that people's rights aren't being violated, and that people can religiously celebrate whoever and whatever they want, and all this stuff. Why aren't we doing it here at home? Why aren't we doing it in the heartland here in Kansas City? The heartland. Where's your heart? The general public need to get informed about what's going on in their communities. You know, when somebody comes to your community and says, we want to put something here for homeless people, your first response shouldn't be, well, don't bring the homeless people to my neighborhood. Brother, they're already there. There's homeless people in every neighborhood. Just about. Yes, even the little gated ones and the fancy smancy shit up there in Parkville and other places in North Kansas City. Y'all got it twisted. Just because you don't see them don't mean they ain't there. They just hiding in the bushes better because they don't like fucking with your evil ass police departments and security that you got up there being assholes to people and inhumane. Man, sorry, I did say I was going to try to keep all this positive. My bad. It's hard to stay positive about this kind of thing when you've been through it and you see what gets done to folks. Um, the injustices aren't just as simple as people think. A lot of it's ridiculous stuff. And I'm not even getting into that now because that's a whole different topic. Um, Back to my main topic, Brian Platt. And this stuff been coming to you for a while. It's your own karma, and that's what happens when you lie to folks. Like they say, if you're gonna do something, be honest about it and upfront. I'd rather you tell me the truth and hurt my feelings now than lie to me and make it hurt more later. But don't do that, folks. You and your velvet purple suits and showy hair, man. Nobody gives a damn about how you look. Do something in your community. It's fine. You want to be a vain bastard. Okay, be a vain bastard, but be a vain bastard that does something for folks in his community. Um, you trying to be a player. You want to be a player, go to the club, but get out of politics. Get out of City Hall. Players don't belong in City Hall. Uh, Unless they're handling business. I've had feelings some players out there be handling business way better than you are, player. So, uh, and I do have to say one other thing about the article that I read in the news, though, and that is they stated in there that they feel that the mayor is being complicit with the racism in City Hall. No, it's worse than that. It's not just complicit. And everybody, all the other representatives in City Hall, white and black, are all responsible. Uh, they all have made and backed, uh, with the exception of Brandon, uh, racist, bigoty. Uh, that's probably not a word, but I'm going to say it, bigoty. Uh, Legislature decisions, gentrification. They've all supported it. Um, Primarily Shields. I cannot stand that woman. Uh, I've taken everything I have to not say to her face the things I would love to say to her face. Um, Basically, I wish somebody would go and audit all of her financial stuff because I'm pretty sure she twisted more than anyone's ever found out. The FBI should have stayed on her motherfucking ass. Uh, you're supposed to be the housing director, but you cut down the production of housing in Kansas City for the last 10 years. Uh, Shit, before COVID, the year before COVID, the full year before COVID, only 314 affordable housing units were created in Kansas City. You want to know how many were needed? 13,723 or something like that. I know it's 13,000 something. That's not you, the housing coordinator of affordable housing. But you were also in charge of building all these luxury apartment buildings with MAC properties. Um, those are your buddies. I don't know what kind of financial incentive they sent you, chick, but you should never brought them here. Here in Kansas City, we try to stick with local people, local contractors, family-owned businesses, black-owned businesses. We trying to fix things here in Kansas City. Y'all still trying to hustle backwards, and we don't do that here no more. We putting a stop to that. Places like Kansas City Tenants and things like that, they finally tired of it. They like they sick of dealing with shitty compromises and things that y'all do to take advantage of folks. It's done. It's over. Like y'all might as well sign yourselves out of office and work on your replacements because um, people starting to get wise to all this double talk y'all been doing and this postponing and this not supporting the low income peoples of Kansas City. Let me tell you something. There are more low income people in Kansas City than anybody else. The average median income might be $100,000, but 3/4 of the people here make way less than that. So the people you should have been aiming to please was them. Because rich people don't make up that vote. They're not going to keep your ass in office. So the few of you politicians that are left, that are out there and have been messing up these last couple of years, if you don't want to be out of office next year or whenever the elections are, I would say get your stuff together. Kansas City coming for you. Brian Platt just the first to go down. These other folks up there, they're not just complicit; they're participators, accomplices. Okay, so keep that in mind. You know, they're not complicit by not doing nothing. They're accomplices by supporting the same initiatives as their counterparts. You know, it's not just the white folks making those racist moves in City Hall. And that's really sad too. You got a bunch of folks up there. What do we call them? Pretenders, bad actors. Yeah, bad actors. You up there? Oh, we doing this for the community. We doing that for the community. I'm a representative for such and such and such. Yeah, and I've noticed that as that representative, you've been doing a piss poor job. You know, the average person in Kansas City make about between, I say, $40,000 and $70,000 a year, if that. If we're talking about the east side, the average median income is 35,000 or something like that. So that means, you know, 100,000, long way off for everybody in that whole district. And y'all need to send that district some love that's been back, that should have been going there the last 100 years. Okay, you want to talk reparations? Shit, you got lots to do, City Hall. But I tell you right now, you know, building a new Chief Stadium, I think that can wait another year or two. Why don't we build some houses? You went from having 300 houseless people the year before COVID to having 700 and some change the following year. And then when we went and counted at this last point in time count, I don't know how, but initially I was being told numbers of like 4,000 homeless people. But out of those, only like 1,500 were considered chronically homeless, which means you've been homeless for a year. And if you've been homeless for a year, you've also been traumatized. You've also probably been beat up. You might have been trafficked, if not for sex, for food stamps or whatever it is that somebody could have taken advantage of you for, your cell phone, who knows. That's life on the streets in Kansas City. You know, it's not, oh, I'm going to go to the family shelter and we're going to have a good time until I get back on my feet. And then, no. If you made it into a family shelter, you'd be lucky. Real lucky. Because I know lots of other families that they got turned away. And in the dark, in the middle of the night, in the freezing cold, in the snow, family turned away. 4-year-old children turned away. That's city unit, you know. I understand they can't make room for everybody, but if it's the middle of the night, you know, it's like 4 a.m, you can't let them sleep in the lobby until you can help them figure out what to do the next day. You just straight up gonna say, no, we ain't got room for them, sorry. Can't go here. Obviously, if there's that much need, y'all ain't doing enough. And it's okay if you don't want to take on that project, but make sure the need is known and pass that information on. These business owners out here on 24 highway, boy, they get me good because they want to complain about the houses people being there, and then Uh, the School of Medicine up there on 24 Highway, they throw lots of money around in that neighborhood. And they finally got them to demolish those apartment buildings that were across the way from them over there. Those were all affordable housing units. I'm pretty sure there's, what, 300 or 400 units there. So that was another big loss of places to live. Now, I'll say that place needed to be knocked down, but they should have replaced it with something somewhere, and given people places to go. They didn't. Those folks just had to move out and go wherever they went. Um, we wanted to put the pallet shelters up there at the school too. They said if they did that, they'd shut the school down and move it somewhere else. They'd give a shit less. They felt that by having a place for the homeless people to go nearby there, that they would be putting their students in danger. Well, all the homeless people were there anyway, and you can't make them leave because they ain't got nowhere to go. You stop that. So instead of being over by your school, they could have been down in their little area and getting assistance and getting to not be homeless anymore. You'd think you would have thrown some money into that and put a beautiful fence around it or something if y'all didn't want to look at it. I mean, shit, pay for the solar power. You know, buy 100 pallet shelters for us. One of the top ranked schools in the damn nation. You can sit here and talk about, we teach doctors, but we're not going to help low income folks or people with medical issues that are stuck out on the street. No, we're going to say, fucking, we don't care where you go somewhere else. Well, shit, if that's your bedside manner, I don't want no doctor from your school operating on me ever. Because if my income is what judges his performance on how he's going to act when he saves my life, I'd rather the intern working at the free hospital be working on me because they're doing something he's passionate about and loves people. Not because he says he loves people, but he only wants to help people with money. You want to do that? Go move to a rich ass neighborhood and be a doctor in a rich ass neighborhood and take advantage of fucking rich people. They did a study here in the U.S. They just evaluated our landfills and judged all the things that go into them. Not just our landfills, but waste overall, byproducts and all that kind of stuff. People that are considered rich make up 99% of our trash. Maybe that's not accurate. It was something close to that, though. I know it was enough for me to go, global warming getting caused by rich people. That's just my opinion. This is not financial fact. This is not, any of that. I should probably get off here. I'm hitting close to 30 minutes. I usually try to keep it around there, so I'm going to hop off for now. I don't know if this is recorded, so you guys might get to see it later, hopefully. Brian Platt, you getting your karma, bro. That's what you get for lying to us. You lie to people with nothing and tell them you got something on the way to help them out, and then give them the cold shoulder. And you already paid for part of the pallet shelters. They sitting there in California waiting, guys. $200,000, $250,000, something like that, of Kansas City taxpayer money that's supposed to be helping the homeless and helping them save money on our emergency services and infrastructure is being held up in California by, guess who? The mayor. Oh, and what's her name? What's that city councilwoman's name? Oh, Lordy. I know what her damn name is, but she said, I don't give a damn about no fucking pallet shelters. Get them out of here. I'll sell them to $1 to the nearest county that'll take them. Well, Miss Unnamed Councilwoman, um, I hope that shit come to bite your ass in the ass because you deserve it. Use Two Faces Brian Platt on trying to help out your black community. And, you know, I don't care what groups y'all are in. You can say, oh, well, I head the part of the city that helps the black community. Really? Well, how much money have you convinced the city into pouring into that initiative? Is it the bare minimum that they have been trying to scrape by to you every year? Because if you're not asking for double or triple or 150 times what it is that they're issuing you because that's what's owed to your black community, give it to them. Stop playing around. We got third generation council people. You think they ain't in there gentrifying, doing the same things their ancestors did for the last 2 generations? Prove me wrong. Show me a track record. He's a lawyer. He should be better. He should be doing better. He owes us better. What's that other dude? That ugly ass white dude be sitting over there mouthing off all the time, making funny little snide comments to everybody. See, this is my house, so I can say what the fuck I want here. So I can sit here and talk bad about all you ugly motherfuckers. I love it. And if something happened to me, somebody come after me, like, I'm gonna get out and then I'm gonna sue the shit out of y'all. Because I've been harassed by you motherfuckers before. I've been harassed by the police before. You know, I got an ex parte on there. Shit. Fuck me. I'm a good man. I do what I do, and I'm broke. And people like to fuck broke people. So, you know, there ain't much you can take from me now. I don't own shit. I don't have shit. Most of my kids don't like me. They're teenagers. They do that. That's okay. Hopefully they'll come back around. I love them all. You know, it's time to stop being bad actors and fake pretenders and actually do some things for our community. Just because we give something doesn't mean that we have to take something away from somebody else. You know, just because we help the homeless in our community doesn't mean that other people are going to lose out elsewhere. As a matter of fact, the opposite is probably true. Our case studies show that if you look at the numbers, when you help out the homeless in the proper way, using things similar to pathways and housing first, when you utilize those methods, you have better outcomes. So use proven evidence to formulate what you're really supposed to be doing. You got a 0 on 5 plan, but you ain't got a fucking clue what it is. I guess you should have been talking to me about 3 years ago. I got tired of playing with y'all because you guys don't listen. And so has everybody else. Like, none of the 501c3s want nothing to do with y'all. And I feel bad for the 501c3 people. When they go in there and they are asking for money in City Hall, they're pretty much expected to grovel at City Hall's feet. And catch it on camera. Like, I pity the bullshit that people are forced to go through to try to help people who need help. And you got these folks that sitting up here in City Hall. May God have mercy on their souls. And anybody else out there who's hating on other human beings the same way that these folks are. Karma's mother. They got Brian Platt. It's coming for the rest of y'all. Enjoy that karma. Just keep in mind, you've done it to yourselves. And there's more coming. Mayor Quentin Lucas, Quentin Lucas, make it Mayor Quentin Lucas. That's what I should call him, Mayor Quentin Lucas, because man, he he quit talking about being homeless. He quit helping the homeless. He quit supporting the homeless. He quit doing all the things that he said he was going to do to help out the low income people in Kansas City. Um, if y'all ain't learned yet, he's not complicit. He's a co-conspirator. So let's just call it what it is. You know, we got a bunch of bad people in City Hall. Let's get them out of there. Let's vote them out. Um, you know, we don't have to be disrespectful about it. We don't have to call them names. We don't have to. I'm sorry, I have been. Uh, you know, forgive me. I'm angry. I have a right to be angry, but I should also kind of reserve myself. So, um, we can do better, KC. Hashtag we can do better, KC. Um, let's keep it up. Let's keep bringing these folks all their deserved karma. Black, white, purple, green, whatever. I don't care what color they are. If they're not doing what's right, then they ain't doing what's right. So I don't have time to slap any more names or labels on them. Y'all know in your heart what's right. So let's start taking care of business. Okay? Let's do good and treat other people good and treat ourselves good too. Mental health. Come on, folks, take care of your heads out there. Um, show some love. Help other people take care of their heads too. You see somebody in distress, offer them a cup of coffee. You see a homeless person having a really bad day somewhere, offer them a coffee, a cigarette. You know, 9 times out of 10, a coffee and a cigarette will calm almost any person down on the street, at least for a few minutes, long enough for them to gather themselves together. And it's a lot easier than arresting them or having a trauma team show up. So, 2 easy things you can do to I know it sounds bad because it sounds like you're giving them something that's bad for them, but you know, until they got a place to go, you can't quit smoking. You can't try to conquer an addiction while you're out on the streets. Um, this, the streets are what make you want to be addicted because you're in survival mode 24/7 and trying to keep your head together. So you start self-medicating. That's why people on the street start using drugs. Not because there's a drug dealer there. They start using because they feel they got no other choice. Because if they don't, they're gonna go crazy, or hurt somebody or something, and nobody want to do that. So they turn to other things, and it's not the right thing, but they ain't got many other options because there's nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. Let's be smart. I love y'all. Stay up out there, and I might post another video later on today with some things. I have a ton of dev work to do. My fellow devs out there, man. I understand we all overloaded. We all trying to get with these Upland specs and stuff. It's really hard when they don't give us the exact details when they roll out the ability to do these things. So I do know that many of us are going back and having to redo and duplicate many of our processes and things that we took care of initially. I know myself have to go back and delete a lot of faces and a lot of textures and change things. So bless my clients for not firing me. Thank you guys. Have a good day.